I feel like I want to talk about the world building in depth from someone who does world building and who is not connected to their world building in the way that Audra is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to go over the entire manuscript. I'm going to go over what I know about the book and the problems that I see from like my perspective and why it doesn't make sense and things. I don't even know what you can improve on, but we're going to go in like layers, right? So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so we're going to talk about the magic system first. Okay, so let's put my glasses on. So the text claims that zodiac turning can like change someone's sign, right? But it's not really like thought out. So if Chase becomes a Scorpio, does he lose his Libra healing altogether? Nobody knows because she didn't write about it. She didn't really explain it. For someone who has a character that says that she knows everything about the world because the character is a historian, she doesn't seem to know fucking anything. So the text actually suggests yes and no at the same time. I don't think for Audra to know everything she says she knows and all of the information she put out there that suggests she knows these things, I think that she wrote a majority of this during her Zodiac Turner book. And because it was for the Zodiac Turner book, all of that information is literally for that. And she might have added a little bit of things here and there, but there's no way she went over all of the texts so she could understand, like, this does not make sense for that. I don't think she's run over the magic system. So there's also this other thing that seems a little bit weird to me. The magic is described as emotion-based. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but the characters seem to use it like whenever they can. And that doesn't, I was thinking like something like that would happen for fire or lightning or something that's like very sparky or, you know, like something that would be getting a rise out of somebody, but something like a light power, I just don't think would work in that same way. I also want to talk about the arch powers, okay? The arch powers are literally like independent, but don't make any sense. And it's the Libra healing, the spirit walking, and the zodiac turning, right? So Ava has fire magic, or Evia has fire magic. And there's water magic, there's shape-shifting, light magic. There's weather magic that is referenced as existing, but not like in detail, right? And there's like animal magic, and there's also paralysis magic. I just don't think these magics were thought through. Okay, there's also like healing magic. And with the healing magic, it requires medical knowledge. And other times it just works. That's not how healing magic should work. Like, for example, healing magic in my world is kind of rare. So because it's a little bit rare, the people who can do it do pay a price for it. And it's not done normally. Like, I have a part of my magic in my world is faith-based magic, right? You have to believe it works. And if you can't believe it works, then it doesn't work. So you can see where the problem might come, where you have to blindly believe that you are healing this person, and you have to have no doubt in your mind. Where this is just, why do you need medical knowledge if it just works? I think that she doesn't know. I really do believe that when she did this novel, that she was 14 and she just edited it a little bit. That's just my perspective. So sometimes it makes him bleed, and then sometimes it doesn't. Because he mentions like that Chase actually will heal animals in an early chapter, and then in a later chapter, he like is bleeding. Like, is it taking a tax on him to keep doing it? And it clearly, if he's doing it all the time, then he would have bloody hands all the time. And I don't know. It's like, is it blood-based magic? Because they're making it out like it's blood-based magic. And apparently there's like a connection between the blood-based and water-based magic for healing, spirit walking, but it's never explained. I think Audrey got like inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender when she was a kid. So I think if she was having multiple based magic system stuff, she clearly needed to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and she needed to make sure that it all worked together. Like, one of the hardest parts of making a magic system is making sure that it all works as one, because someone will point out when it doesn't work. So now we're going to talk about like the earth stuff when it comes to her world, the environmental, the geographical uses, like all of that stuff. My biggest issue is that she describes Conviction Woods like being a cursed forest that kills intruders, a temperate rainforest where families live comfortably, and she also describes it as being like humid all year round. Like, how are people living comfortably in a temperate forest with humidity all year round? Okay, I don't think she knows what those things are. She says a temperate forest. A temperate forest is like, it's closer to what you think is in like the eastern United States. It's like Deadicus forests, okay? And with like broadleaf trees, like oaks and maples, and other forests that are like in the Pacific Northwest, like Douglas firs, Sitka spruces, and it's like moderate rainfall, right? So it literally can't be humid all year long. For it to be warm and humid all year long, I think she needs a rainforest, but I feel like she liked the idea of the moody idea of like I think what she wanted was a temperate rainforest, but she didn't know what a temperate rainforest is. So she said a temperate forest, and then she assumed that a temperate rainforest and a temperate forest are the same thing, and she put down the information because a temperate rainforest is very specific, and there's not a lot of places on Earth where they exist. So I don't think for someone who is a naturalist, I feel that she should know this. Me and her are a little bit similar in our education. She should 100% know different biomes, hydrology, things like that. She should know these things. And it's further proof that I believe that she repurposed her Zodiac Turner book and the world in it into this book. So it's like the Conviction Woods also maintains different climates than the surrounding areas. It's humid and warm, while the hub experiences harsh winters. It would totally be affected by that. That is why making biome worlds are really terrible, because they look like you don't know what you're doing. The only way I would literally accept that is if you had a magical reason why the borders are in place. So you would need something where, if I was to do, I have something, I don't have anything similar like that in my world. But what I do have is I do have an area in my Vost Woods, which is a wooded area that is in between solstice and equinox. I'll put up my map right here for a second. And it is closer to, what tree is that? Okay, so it is closer to, I have a life tree in my world, similar to the Deku tree, the Aoife tree from Final Fantasy IX. It's a world tree, right? And because that forest in particular is kind of connected to the Soul Seer, it experiences different sort of blooming, which creates areas that have different colors for the leaves and the branches and stuff like that. But I would actually have to explain that in the story if I were to introduce that, instead of just saying the leaves are blue here and then later they're walking somewhere else and then they're white. No one would understand that. Someone would have to be yeah, it's just because it's connected to the Soul Seer over an equinox. You would just have, there's some things. She also has this glossary in the back of the book that's supposed to explain stuff. Audrey, you can't do that. Having the glossary is great, but no one's going to read your glossary first. You're literally going to have to go and type out what these things mean in the plot. Just because you know your world, which I don't really think she knows her world like she thinks she does, because she wrote it when she was 12. I think she really needs to go back through that world, or I know some people will disagree with me here, but if she is unable to go through all of that work, I think that she should have somebody else read it, somebody else decipher it, and pay a world builder. Shit, pay me. I'll go through all of your pages, tell you what's wrong, how to fix it, how to make it make sense. I'll do that for you. If you literally, PSA to Audrey Winters, if you need help world building, please let me look over all of your documents. I will literally read everything and tell you what the fuck is wrong with your book. Just with the world. Just with the magic and the environmental stuff. Anyway, so she also has magical creatures, and they materialize based on the threat level to intruders, which is a very, very gamed. It's like a video game. And they don't need food or water or breeding grounds or anything. And there's no explanation as to like when or where they are when they are not attacking. Like they just are like, zoop, there they are. They're just summoned from the netherworld. Like, where are they? Like, where do they come from? I think if you wanted to have that, you could have that there is like a spirit realm, and in your spirit realm, you could do something where all of the creatures that live in the spirit realm have to traverse back and forth, and they have a sensing capability that lets them know that there are intruders, and they can appear into the real realm for a limited period of time, and then they need to disappear. So, and I don't know what you would do with the spirit realm, but it's just an idea on how I would fix that. She also describes like how it has like a vast amount, like Conviction Woods, I think, also supports like wolves and elk and deer and supernatural monsters without describing how these things eat each other. The best way to do that is like make it known early, like maybe have a hunter character. Like these things have to have a weakness. You can't just introduce them and not have weaknesses. Like predators are predators because they're at the top of the food chain. If something is able to feast upon the predator, you need to make it very clear as to like there would be less predators, right? And more prey. So there might be one supernatural monster in an area and many predators and even many more prey. Or you could do keystone species. Like, girl, you should know these things. Like, I'm talking about stuff that she should fucking know. And if you don't know, for world builders, a keystone species is a species that it is created the entire food web of that location. And if you remove it, everything breaks and crumbles underneath. And as an example, the wolves in Yellowstone are a keystone species because they were removed due to overhunting. The other prey animals there have overgrazed Yellowstone to death, right? So there's nothing preying upon them. So they're just laying out in places where they probably shouldn't because they have no reason to have any fear of anything. So, like, bears aren't eating them. Bears aren't eating the moose or whatever the fuck's over there. So they need the wolves. The wolves fix it. Overgrazing causes erosion. Like, it's a trickle-down effect. So have keystone species if you plan on introducing these magical creatures. There's also another thing about, like, forest dynamics. Like, trees produce a healing sap, but only activated under specific magic. I don't think it should be all trees, because that is ridiculous. I think it should be specific trees. It gives more agency for your characters to be like, oh, I need to find a Douglas fir. And then they search the forest for a Douglas fir. Or they search the forest for these kinds of trees. And what you could have done is you could have had a list of real trees in certain locations, and those specific trees, or like in your desert area, you could have had, for example, the Joshua tree. The Joshua tree could have been the healing tree, and they could just go there and then be like, oh, I need a Joshua tree. Instead of this random shit you've involved. The forest knowing like who should be protected versus killed. Is this like the Lost Woods? If it's the Lost Woods, like Zelda, okay? Like, this is, I also think that she has not read enough, because if she's not read enough, she would be able to solve these issues. She would see that they're issues right away and know how to solve them. So there's the Lost Woods. The Lost Woods protect the Kokiri, right? And the Deku tree is in there. And it is their magic that protects people from just entering the forest and hurting them. So no one can just walk into the fucking woods without getting lost. Like, Link is an exception because he was granted a blessing. So, girl, what do you want? Like, how do they know who's supposed to be protected? Like, the trees don't fucking know anything unless they're all actually living beings. And then that's a whole other thing. Like, which ones are the living beings? Are all of them the living beings? Like, you like created so many questions without answers. So there's also like climate and geography issues. Now, the fact that characters can walk between different climate zones and days is like, I fucking can't with that. And a single continent, like, apparently contains temperate rainforests, alpine mountains, coastal areas, and barren territories. Barren territories? Do you know what a barren territory is, or are you just saying some shit? Like, I've seen the map. The map is divided into 4. It's like a Pangea and divided into 4. And then there's like permanent seasons in some places, and others it changes normally. Like, if you're gonna have like a permanent season in a location, you have to have a magical reason why that's happening, right? So for my light novel, I know some people are going to get this right away. I have what is called the fracture. And when the fracture happened in my world, it broke a lot of things that has to do with the magic system. It broke the order of the world, right? So some places, like a small forest, would like be in summer, while outside of it is in winter. But there is still a casual, like, moving forward towards the forest. It gets warmer and warmer. But at the same time, you know, it's permanently warm because the order of magic is broken. I have explained that the order of magic is broken early on so that you know that it's broken. So if you see random things that don't make sense, you know, oh, the order of this is busted. So seeing something that doesn't make sense will make sense. There's also like, there's not enough mountain ranges or geological features that could explain the reasons why the climate's like this. Like, if Conviction Woods is right next to, I don't remember which one is the desert, but if it's right next to the desert, I would like, if there was a mountain, a tall mountain range between them, I would be willing to accept that on the slope side is just hot. I'd be willing to accept that because you go from, like, if you think about it, from California, when you're on California side of the mountains, it's beautiful on that side. And then the moment you go to Southern California and you go through Death Valley, like, once you hit the valley, it's fucking dry as shit out there. Dry, super dry, and it's super hot. I would willing to believe that you could go from that to that because it is very beautiful in California on that one side. Then you go to the other side and it's terrible. So now we're going to talk about like weather stuff, okay? So the hub is like a centralized city that people can go to, and it experiences harsh central winter, while the nearby Conviction Woods has humid and stays warm all year round. You mean a rainforest next to harsh winters? It's ice. They're coming. I'm scared. Okay. Anyway. Weather systems don't work this way. Neither do climate systems. Girl, you're going to need to start explaining this shit there is no way she's going to come out with this new book and it's going to fix all of her issues. I do not believe she wrote that. You can't have like localized permanent climate differences without major like geographic barriers. Like, she should know this. She's a naturalist. She's went to all of these like different places that she talks about. She went to all of these different places. Like, she also has like no explanation for how global weather patterns work in these magical climate pockets. Like, she just isn't explaining like how it happens, even in passing. Like, a simple in passing could make this work. Like, I have a 5th season in my light novel, and when the 5th season happens, I could literally just have a character briefly explain what the 5th season is or how it's experienced to a character who doesn't know. And as long as you like explain it a little bit. Like, I know that books are, you know, mostly show and tell, but she is not showing and she is not telling. You have to tell a little bit. You can tell a little bit. You don't need all show. So it also has issues with hydrology. Girl, I literally saw you at a fucking river. So there is this big river that runs through multiple climate zones and political territories. That would not happen because it needs to come from somewhere. She thinks that rivers flow into mountains when they do not. They come from them. I've explained this in my world building video. If you want to, feel free to go check it out because it tells you how to not do dumb shit. People have like ocean access and coastal features without actually having like consistent framework for those geographic areas. So there's things like the Sagittarians are described as sea dwellers, like most of them live on the seas off of the southern coasts, but they're also described as needing to interact with land-based populations. Why? Girl, why? And then she'll mention like coastal things, because I think what it is she's chosen locations based on aesthetics without understanding where those need to go. And this is more reading into she used the book when she was 14 years old, because she has something like the Audra Bluffs described as a volcanic island where fish are caught. Do you know what a bluff is? So like the volcanic island is, okay, it is a hot spot, right? And a hot spot is when there is like a volcano underneath and it's in the middle of nowhere and it's by itself. There's no other things around it. As an example, you can see a hot spot as Hawaii, right? Because as the tectonic plate shifts over, it'll constantly move the volcano. It'll move the hotspot volcano away. So you'll see eventually Hawaii will be like underwater, because every island will go back to the sea as the sea rises, because it's only making like more mass for the hotspot location. Okay, so the area bluffs. A bluff is like a steep, high bank cliff with like, it's kind of round and has a body of water, but you can see bluffs in other locations too where there used to be water to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you guys a bluff right now so you guys kind of know in general what I'm talking about. So let me turn on my screen capture real quick. Ooh, I will put that over here. Okay, as you can see here, there is slopes that usually take place. You can kind of see here. I'm just going to show you some stuff. See where it just goes foom, right? Cliffs go foom. You can also see it here where it goes foom. It's just, in general, it just goes down. But she said that it's a volcanic island. So technically, it should have a different name. The area bluffs would be a terrible name for that. There's also the Southern Conviction Bluffs, which are referenced as metaphors, but nothing more. There's no explanation to how these coastal features relate to the main continent or each other. She just doesn't know geography. This woman does not know geography. For her being a naturalist, she doesn't know shit. She doesn't know what any of these terms mean. And I am very like, she went to college? Did she go to college for this, to be a naturalist? Because it's like, even if you do environmental studies and you don't do environmental science, you still have to do like the physical features of ecosystems and the biological features of ecosystems. So you would still get this kind of information. Like, she talks a lot about like sea travel, but the entire journey takes place in landlocked areas. Like, I feel like maybe she liked the aesthetic, because everything she shows stuff is for aesthetics. Like, it's okay, girl, you can like stuff for aesthetics, but at least write it good. Okay, write it good. Make it make sense. Like, she has also the fact that the characters walk for weeks without encountering a single body of water. No rivers, no nothing. Like, bruh. And it's like, the ocean is readily available, but why? If the place is landlocked, it's a Pangea, why do we even need the ocean? The Sagittarians? Like, the ocean should have like a more moderate climate, but in areas as described as having like coastal stuff, it has the same extreme weather as the inland areas. Why would that would never happen? You would need to add more magic to make sense. And we're also going to talk about one of the other things that I wanted to bring up is the fact that this is like an after-Earth system, right? Where she said it was like an urban fantasy. But I think she just wanted to have her own world because it was like a way for her to navigate the real world. I also wanted to bring up, like, before that part, I wanted to bring up like resource distribution between the four, right? Each union apparently specializes in a resource that aligns with the territory. There's no explanation for how trade works when some areas apparently lack basic resources. The idea is that the Sagittarians live on the seas off of the southern coasts, but also need to interact with land-based population. Like, what was the point of putting them? What's the point of making them sea dwellers at all? I think you just like the idea of it. Not that it makes sense. Like, for her to have all this stuff written about her world, she doesn't know shit about it. I think she also really liked the idea of After Earth. Like, okay, so one of my favorite books of all time actually does this. It is The Prince of Thorns. It is an after-world fantasy, right? And it plays with you. I didn't actually know that it was after Earth until almost the end of the book, where the main character is literally talking to a computer, and he's shouting at it. He doesn't realize it's a computer, but based on the description, it is an actual computer that he's talking to with an AI. And he's like, "Spirit, speak to us." It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But I will say that if you guys are going to go read Prince of Thorns, its main character is kind of a crazy person. So it's a dark fantasy. So just keep that in mind and don't judge me. Anyway, another version of her book that did well was Shannara Chronicles. Some of you guys might have seen the TV show Shannara Chronicles. It is an After Earth book. There's also Ursula Le Guin's Always Coming Home. And many people know about Jack Vance's Dying Earth. I think she read Jack Vance's Dying Earth. I really believe she read that, because Jack Vance has art in his novel, and it is an after Earth situation where the sun is dying, and there's like strange geography and bizarre creatures and stuff like that. I think that's what she was going for. I feel like she got very inspired by Jack Vance. But the thing is like Jack Vance now is a difficult read. You can't, like, for example, you can't listen to an audiobook by Jack Vance. You have to, oh my God, Ice, please, I'm busy. You have to read Jack Vance novels because you have to look up the words that are in the book. It is too complicated and too hard to listen to in audiobook form. You have to read it. You have to spend time looking at all the words in it, because it's old. Like, she didn't think about, she just took Earth, made it Pangea, and didn't leave any references to what came before in it. Like, and there's so many examples. There's like Horizon Zero Dawn, there's Jack Vance's Dying Earth, there's also the Shannara Chronicles, there's Prince of Thorns. There's so many books. There's no way that she read a bunch of books if she came up with these bad ideas. Alright, so now that I'm going to wrap up the world building part, I'm going to bring up a few little other things that kind of annoyed me. So, if society is divided into 12 equal zodiac groups, each union would have roughly equal populations. But it's described that some of the signs are rare, like Sagittarius missing for ages, while others seem very dominant. I think you could have gone a little bit deeper into that. I think you could have made Sagittarians like people who also live in rivers, in riverbeds, in lake beds, did you just delete them off the fucking map? You know what you could have done if you wanted to, like, you know what, you did not need to, you didn't actually need someone to draw your world for you. You could have taken all of the continents on Earth and then remashed them together and saw what version you liked the most and made your world based off of that. You could have done that. Just a thought, Audrey, just a thought. There's also the thing where the union law forbids inter-union marriages, which limits the gene pool. So there would be some bottlenecking going on with certain types of people, where you would see people who are, like, for example, let's say there was, 20 people who were colorblind in the original gene pool. Now everyone is black-white colorblind. You could have used that. That would have actually been fucking cool if everyone that lived in the desert was black-white colorblind. That would be interesting, because they would only see shades of gray. And if you guys didn't know, that's actually a real thing. Basically, there was like a shipwreck, and one guy was colorblind in the population that got shipwrecked. And the people there continued to breed and like live on the island over time. And what ended up happening was a color blindness got bred into the population so deeply that they all became black-white colorblind. And that's super rare in the real world, but it's common there because of color blindness being bred into the population. I'm not going to talk about the economy part like with sales and trade, because I don't give a shit about that. I don't think you, I don't know how deeply you brought it up, but I like a book that's an adventure. I just don't think it probably was necessary. Also, let's talk about this language issue. She has like 4 different languages in her world, and then like a main language, I guess. And there's like 4 different runic, they're all runic, right? They speak in the runic languages. There's no explanation of like how literate people are in these languages, translation, or how even official documents work from union to union. And characters switch between the languages without even thinking. So it's like it would have been much more interesting if a union language was bred into the territory, right? That would make more sense, because I think that's what she was trying to go for. But like, how would they learn the common tongue if nobody is interacting with each other? I think like you have the hub, and the hub is like whatever. People would not be able to interact there unless they knew someone else's language. So you would have to, the common tongue, which, oh my God, like sometimes having a common tongue is great, but you have to explain why the common tongue exists. Like, who created it and why is it there? Like, my world has a common tongue, but people speak, like, Solstice has Solstin, which is just, it's just fucking French. And outside of Solstice, they don't speak French, but they still have this, they still sound like they're French. And common is just taught. Common is taught alongside the regular languages. So it's like English, right? So every place learns common. No one does not know common. I would say if I had to pick a place that doesn't know common, it would probably be like the southern expanse of Varosia, the southern hinterlands of the Osavahal, and like the Ursi Islands. Maybe, might not, because they're tribes people, so they would have a hard time communicating off the island. So I don't 100% know. I would have to work that out, to be honest. But they also, like, she also has like the stuff with the border. Like, why are they guarding the borders? What's the point? What's the threat? The other people? Why? Like, what is, like, migration? I don't know. Like, there's also like an issue with, oh my God, there's an issue with immortal characters where they've been alive for centuries, but nothing has changed, and no technological progress, social evolution, or cultural development. So it would be very interesting to have a character from before time. If this person's truly immortal, why didn't you? It would have been super easy to have that. I just think that people will disagree with me, but she definitely repurposed that book. She definitely repurposed it. She used all of her notes from when she was 12 years old, repurposed the book, renamed parts, added some more information. I just don't believe that she really thought deeply about the world building. There's no way she thought deep about this. This is a surface level thing. And the fact that there is zodiac turning in her book leads me to believe that the Zodiac Turner thing, the Zodiac Turner book, is literally her book. Because to me, it feels like the magic system was designed for a different story structure. The character relationships and the family seems overly complicated, like it was remnants from a separate plot. It seems like, all right, post-editing Nimbus, I came here to talk about what I found out while I was editing the world building part of this. So she has definitely 100% repurposed that book. I'm going to show you guys some screenshots that I found and some things that people have showed me. So originally she had several Wattpad accounts, and I found one because the Zodiac Turner book is actually one of the original books that she had on Wattpad. Okay, hold on. All right, do you see this? Serena Winters, The Zodiac Turner Fight Trials. That's 2017. This book was definitely 100% on Wattpad at some point. And I went to look for this Spirit of the Alpha, and that account does not exist, but she did leave a comment, so I know that the account was real 8 years ago. She was 14 when this was on there, and someone else showed me something else that I'm going to show you guys. So this is the original image. This is on her own TikTok. She exposed this herself, and I believe this is the original story, okay? It's called Zodiac Awakened. I believe the two characters, I don't believe that this was, I still believe that even though this was on Wattpad, this is clearly like her story still. So that is probably the main character up there, and that is probably the male character. Even though she says that the story is sapphic, I have ideas about the sapphic part. So I want to talk a little bit more about the proof that I have that this is just a rehash. Right here, you can see very clearly this says the Zodiac Turner Series Book 1 by Audra Winter. Up there, you can see Alpha Winter, which is another name that she goes by, which was corroborated by, what was it? People calling her by her old username, which was Alpha Wolf 331. She says that also here, and her name here is Alpha Nyx in this right here, where her Pokemon fan fiction is. There it is. Alpha Wolf 331. So it all is connected back to this. So Zodiac Awakened is her first run through. I believe that book got on the 2016 Waddies, but she has deleted that. I believe she has deleted that account because what is left behind is only this Alpha Nyx account. That's it. And by coming here, you can see that she affirms that this is her account. I'm a college student majoring in creative writing now, and my TikTok has 110K followers for my book. So I wanted to point out that based on what I saw of her, I believe that she was a naturalist, but she is not. And even being a naturalist, I feel it is not an excuse. She should have done more research into the world building of her novel. Obviously, this book has been published already, and she took it down. Hold on a minute. I wanted to point out that this one specifically was not a sapphic novel, okay? I'm not saying it couldn't be, but I just want you to keep that in your brain for a second, okay? And in this one TikTok here, it says here that the character's name was Akira Spring. So this leads me to believe that she was like very into anime, which she says she has been very into anime, wanted to be a Japanese exchange student, all that. But here, the character's name is Akira, and it seems as though she was like a Waizen kind of character, like a white Asian character. And I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm saying that, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, okay, if you're gonna write a POC, at least you should probably know you're writing a POC. Like, I know, like, I feel this is definitely, this character is a fucking Mary Sue of her. The character is her, and she is probably a Scorpio herself. She is writing herself into her novel. Dead ass, that's what I think. This is a Mary Sue. This is basically a story that she wanted to write. And she had and Chase, oh my god, we gotta talk about Chase too. The romance in that novel is dumb. But first, we're still gonna connect these dots. Because it says right here, Akira has broken the code. Isn't that what Rika has done, is broke the code? Okay, and here is another one right here. This is the plot for the Zodiac Turner, the original book. The original book, look right here. It says her job is an explorer. Her 5 traits are revealed. Her looks are revealed. Black hair, left eye red, right eye gold, tall, skinny, and agile. Animal form is revealed as a wolf. Alright. On top of that, there is a ceremony, and Avia, whatever, is also revealed here, down here. And here's another thing where it's part of the rewrite. Oh, look at this one. This literally says, start of QL plus pitch, the age of Scorpius, is my 108-word Zodiac-based queer young adult fantasy described as I think she wrote this later. It says Akira is a Zodiac Turner in the world where one Zodiac sun. I think 100% this is written later because she was so young when she first wrote this. Because this was not the original name for this. I think this is another rewrite title situation. Okay, so I did find Audra Winters like awards for her book that she wrote when she was like 11. Okay, Winters, listen. It's Kansas, brother. It's Kansas. Okay, it's Kansas. It's Kansas. It's hard for me to take this seriously when it's like this wasn't like a general award. This is for like young artists and writers, like young people who are gonna fuck it up. Okay? And here's Nara, who was the character's love interest. But we're gonna get back to that. Alright, this is also on her thing right here. If you guys wanna, I wonder if I can zoom in some more. But what I will read here is that it says romantic interests is Chase Wendell. And that her canonships is called Shakira. Okay? Her sibling is Avia. Now, we're gonna talk about this. Clearly, from everything I have showed you guys, this thing that she's doing is just a rehash of she's been rewriting this novel, specifically this novel and just Pokemon shit for the last 10 fucking years. Girl, you did not write anything else. You didn't write anything else. You didn't. I am shocked. I'm shocked. She actually gave it all away. She actually gave it all away. But she did it, like, here it is. Look. And now I have a complete novel at 109 words long that I'm currently sending to literary agents. So she tells us, when was this? 2021, right after she went viral. She literally told us, I've been writing this novel for 10 years and I've rewritten only this thing and nothing else for 10 years. She's literally been trying to get this one thing published. Like, seeking representation. So the novel was already finished. I believe that this is a self-insert Mary Sue character. I don't know. Okay. So this is the only thing I'm not sure about. When it comes to the character of Chase and her rewriting that novel, a part of me believes that she might have been rewriting the novel for one or two reasons. One, she is now a lesbian and it does not reflect her current romantic interests. Because it is a self-insert. It is a self-insert. And because it's a self-insert, she needs to write it so it makes sense for her, right? Or she has since decided that writing a straight relationship is not what she wanted, and she wanted to add the sapphic stuff. But did you guys notice that sapphic stuff was really like under the nose? Like, it seems like, you know what I mean? Like, I would have probably led with that. Like, you know, like, okay, like, I'm bisexual. Everyone literally knows this about me. If I was going to write a bi character, I would put on the front that the character is bisexual. I'd be like, bi main character. Bi main character. And I do have a character that's like that. The character Wappy is like that. There's also the thing about, like, the character being Asian, but not Asian, but she doesn't say the character's Asian. Like, she already kind of showed us that the world is formerly America. Because she's shown us so much nonsense, which is, that's what it is. It's nonsense. I'm surprised none of us actually just went through and looked at what she was typing. Akira is the main character. Now it's Erika. So, not Erika. Now it's Rika. So, it's clearly like Asian characters. And she kind of didn't tell anybody. So that leads me to believe that, okay, if you're going to use... Oh my god, this is going to sound so dumb. If you're world building and there are, like, Asian names in the population, okay, you're going to have to world build for that. So, like, you could make it that, like, her Conviction Woods is really, like... You can make that Conviction Woods has bottlenecked. You know how I was talking about bottlenecking before? That it was a population of mostly, like, Asians and whites. And then now it's just Wasians. Like, half and half. And only that. So, people who are white Asian are literally only from Conviction Woods, and they're all white Asian. So, she could have done that, but, you know, as we know, she did everything as surface level as possible, her world building is terrible. Like, even the world building for just the character, I thought the character was a white girl. There's a white girl with black hair. I didn't actually know she was Asian until somebody like hit me up and was like, yeah, the character is like a Asian character, but she didn't like say she was a Asian character. And I was like, oh, isn't that interesting? Now let's talk about this love interest. I want to talk about Chase and Nara, okay? So, okay. She, in her novel now, she has no romantic interest with Chase. But she made it very clear, right? So, like, the characters explicitly say it, which is like kind of one of the things that make me feel like this was part of the rewrite. It's that, like, Chase tells her, I don't have feelings for you, but I genuinely appreciate you as a friend. That is so unnatural. That's so unnatural. Like, I feel like this is her inexperience talking. Like, you know when you have a friend and they're of the... okay, I am of the... Just hear me out, okay? Hear me out. This is my perspective, okay? When you're friends with someone of the opposite sex and you guys get along, okay, really well, there is an unspoken understanding of attraction between you two. And I'm not saying attraction is in like physical attraction. People only let people in their circles if they're attracted to the person. And by attracted, I mean they're attracted either physically, emotionally, personality-wise. There's loads of reasons to be attracted to a person. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're sexually attracted, okay? And what I'm meaning is, like, I've had friends who I've had, like, opposite, sex from me, and I was very attracted to their personality. Their personality was, like, fire to me, and I loved hanging around them. And my friend Sean, okay? Now, my friend Sean is trans, and me and him had a very close relationship, so close. And as you guys know, I'm married, and I was so attracted to his personality. I loved hanging out with him all the time. He used to come over my house 3 times a week or more. Think about that. Come over my house 3 times a week or more. He was very close friends with us, and I cried when he moved back to Alaska. I was depressed for months. It was like a part of me was gone, okay? I do not believe that Chase, if they're very close, Chase would say this to Rika. Chase might say something like, I don't think, we're compatible romantically, but I still love you, okay? Like, I feel like you can understand that. There's words, there's things to say that are other than this, because this, if any of my guy friends that I had been so close to, like if Sean said, I don't have feelings for you, but I appreciate you as a friend, that would hurt me, because we do have feelings for each other. We are so close that we cried when he left. Saying that you don't have, like, you can't make me believe that Rika, if Chase dies, Rika's gonna cry. And if she doesn't cry, she's a cold bitch, okay? Cold bitch. I don't believe this sentence, okay? Knowing that he is the former love interest, I feel this is put in there for later. So, Rika says, I feel the same. Never got that impression. Why would you say that if you guys never felt that way? Like, the thing is like, even if you're not, like, people who you, like, even if you're not that close with somebody, you wouldn't even say this. Like, this is something that people say when they have romantic interests. Okay? You get it? Like, when you're in denial that there's a romantic element, you say, oh, I am not interested in you. This reads not as, like, enemies to lovers, but this reads like childhood friendship or whatever friendship getting together. So they have like that romantic anime thing. You guys know when, like, you know, the guy pushes her up against the wall to protect her, and she makes it out like she's visibly uncomfortable with the physical contact. Okay, if he is protecting her, why, like, even if they're not romantically interested, they're close friends, and if my friend did something like protect me from something by using like their body to shield me, I wouldn't even be thinking like, oh my god, he's touching me. I'd be like stunned in silence, probably. I definitely wouldn't be trying to start some shit. So she also goes and she says that she's described Chase as not her type, even though in the Zodiac Turners, Chase is exactly her type. So she tries to make them like siblings. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, she tries to get you're just like a brother to me, right? But I feel like there's leftover romantic elements. Like, Chase frequently touches, like, Rika all the time. Like, he steadies her, and then she, like, I don't think she realizes what she's left in, having not rewrote, but readjusted the plot. And then retrofitted things in and took out some stuff. She's literally, I don't know, she's not really editing, she's not really rewriting the story. The rewrite is just her, there's no way you're going to rewrite the same story over and over and over and over without looking at the previous. I don't believe she's done that. I think she's revised the story. She's re-edited the original manuscript. So when someone actually looked at it, she probably didn't do anything. There's no fucking way. She knew it was perfect from the beginning. And that's just her thing. So she describes Chase as being protective and concerned about her. He is described as being protective and concerned about her well-being in ways that almost read a little bit possessive, like a lover. If he's just a brother, brothers can be possessive. But now that I know that this character was previously the love interest, you have to rewrite the character from scratch. They got to be completely redone. She should have completely rewrote this novel. She did not rewrite it. She just readjusted. Like, that pinning against the wall is romantic undertones, okay? It is. It is a romantic thing that you put in for tension. She should have removed that altogether. You know what I mean? Like, if she was really trying to rewrite the romance, that moment should have been gone. Like, Chase's wariness of Nara feels like romantic rivalry than just a protective friendship. And revealing that they're actually brother-sister feels like it was added to eliminate a love triangle. And, like, they also have a very intense connection. Like, she mentions that she's had 10 years of writing them as a pair. Okay? Their bond is quick and deep. Okay? Chase understands her emotions and needs better than anyone else. And there's an intimacy between him healing and her reactions. This book should have not been sapphic, and I'm just telling you, I feel like it was added in because she's a self-insert. Okay? Because all of the we're not romantically interested conversations feel forced, out of place. All of these denials always come after some romantic subtext because she doesn't want her audience to ship Chase and Rika, even though she wrote them that way. And there's also, like, Chase acts more like a love interest than a friend from what I'm seeing of what literally other people have been saying about him. I believe that. I have the book, I have the PDF, and I've looked over it, and I also believe that. I believe adding Nara as a sibling feels like a plot device to eliminate romantic competition. It feels like she's trying to retrofit a love triangle into a lesbian romance without fully removing the heterosexual romance dynamics. Where, like, so now we're told that he isn't one, even though he still acts like he's the love interest because he was originally written as the love interest. And let's talk a little bit about Nara. It's kind of problematic, actually, because it was based on her having her memories removed, and it was Nara that did it. So there's like an unhealthy dynamic already built on like violation of consent. Then the memory is returned as a plot device, which is like cringe. And like the relationship has progressed based on like her recovering her feelings. Does that make sense? Instant connection issues. Like they instantly fall back into intimacy, whereas it was not originally written that way. Like what would have been better is if you just changed. You should have just made Chase, just renamed Chase and made him a woman. You should have just done that. And then it would have truly been sapphic. And you could have just changed all... Like, if you're just going to keep revising the original draft over and over and over and over... Because she says that she rewrites from front to back. I no longer believe she rewrites front to back. That's not possible. That's not possible. She is revising from front to back. Every time someone tells her something's wrong, she goes back and revises it. I don't believe that she's rewritten. I would need to see every version she's ever written to believe her. That they're all uniquely different and not just the same version of the same original story she written when she was 11 years old. Like the enemies to lovers thing, that's a conversation. That's a one conversation. And they're like codependent, which is... that reads like toxic. So if some of you guys were feeling that Chase is the real romantic interest, that's because he is. That's because he is. I'm sorry, Audra. I'm sorry. You did this to yourself. At this point, you would need to give me every PDF of every story you wrote, and I would read over all of them to see that you have not you've not done shit. Girl, you didn't do shit. You took that same damn book and rewrote the same damn thing and went, yep, it's great, isn't it? It's great, right? No, it's terrible. It's terrible. So terrible. All your world building. You didn't even build the romance good. Every turn you built nothing. You built no romance. You should have just let Chase be the main love interest. I know that maybe you're a lesbian now and that character is very near and dear to your heart and is basically you, but in this form. Okay, I understand this is like all of those terrible things into one. But damn, write something else. Girl, write something else. You gotta write something else now. Damn, all you got is Pokemon in this? Shit. She just wanted to make money off of the original book that she created. And oh my god, I've listened to too many people talk about this book openly and have been found wanting. And I guess that's all I have to say about Audrey Winters and her terrible world building. So I guess thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And if you watched this video to the end, I wanted to thank you so much for watching this. And Audrey, listen, if you really need someone to look through your stuff, please feel free to reach out to me via my email address connected to my accounts. I will try to get back to you, and I'm there if you want to contact me through TikTok or Instagram or whatever. My hand's open to you, okay? I am here to attempt to help you before you write your new book. Clearly you need some help. I'm willing to help. And please subscribe, everyone. This video has not gotten the channel views yet that it needs to get monetized, and that is the only thing I'm missing on this channel. So please support me. Please watch to the end, and please subscribe. Thank you so much. Also, please share it. Love you. Bye.